The first sin ever committed wasn't Adam and Eve. It wasn't the apple. The first sin ever committed was pride, when Lucifer himself fell from heaven. And isn't it ironic we say pride comes before the fall, when we had that modeled from the very beginning and we never even realized it? And I know what that fall feels like, because pride took me down the same way. But it also taught me the most valuable thing I could have learned. See, growing up, basketball wasn't just a sport for me. It was an emotional escape. It was my identity. On the surface, my life looked good. I was popular, well-liked. I was respected, but it was all performance-based. People liked me as a basketball player, not as the person I actually was. I mean, most people didn't even know who I was because I put on this fake persona, and I did it so long that I almost even forgot who I was. But as I got more and more validation from more and more people, it started to grow into something dangerous. See, my mindset shifted. All of a sudden, I genuinely thought I was better than everyone else. It wasn't loud. It was just a quiet certainty that I knew I was special, that I was something different. The problem is, my pride told me that I had already achieved what I needed to, and therefore I didn't need to work as hard as I previously was. So I got lazy. Then the fall came. Everything I had worked for slipped through my fingers. No college scholarships, no basketball for the future. Everything that I tried so hard to attain for the first few years, this figment of myself that I'd created, faded away. This is where the problems arose, because I didn't just lose basketball, I lost sight of who I was. See, my identity was tied to this thing, and as soon as it was gone, I had no identity left. Pride didn't just cost me basketball, a scholarship, the future that I dreamed of. It cost me everything. And the worst part is, I never even knew it was there. I always thought it was self-belief, ambition, confidence, and that's what makes it the most dangerous sin, because it wears the best disguise. And isn't it ironic? The one who committed the first act of pride disguises himself. That's what he does. He's the father of lies. So of course the sin he introduced into the world wears the best disguise. And when he got to the garden, it wasn't a sword that he used on Adam and Eve. It was pride. He whispered to them, "You too can be like God." That's pride. It was his weapon then, and it's still his weapon now. Pride isn't loud. It's the quietest voice in the room. And that's why it's the most dangerous sin you'll ever face. Because every other sin you can see coming. Anger feels like anger. Lust feels like lust. But pride feels like confidence. Pride feels like ambition. Pride feels like self-awareness. It borrows the clothes of virtue so you never question it. And while you sit there fully convinced that you're just believing in yourself, it's quietly disconnecting you from God, from people, from your purpose. Lucifer wasn't tempted by pride from the outside. It grew within him, and it does the same thing in you. So here's how you catch it. Ask yourself one question. Am I doing this for the glory of God or for my own gain? Because pride doesn't survive that question. As soon as you shine a light on it, it loses its disguise. Humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. But knowing that and living that are two completely different things. Every time you receive praise, pause before you own it. Redirect it. Say, everything good within me comes from God. Notice how uncomfortable that feels. That uncomfortability is pride dying. I learned that the hard way while I was working at a rehab at 21 years old. A man came up to me and said, "Eli, you're so full of the Spirit. I wish that I was more like you." And immediately I didn't feel proud. I felt so embarrassed because I knew that he couldn't be further from the truth. When I was younger, my pride would have eaten me alive there. It would have told me, "You are so amazing, Eli, and the way you speak is unlike any other, and this guy realizes it, so it must be true." But instead of pride taking over in that moment, humility did. I looked at him and I said, "I'm no different than you." And that moment touched his life more than my proud self ever could have. That's the paradox of humility. The moment you stop trying to be special is the moment you actually become impactful. So ask yourself, Am I doing this for my glory or for God's glory? I challenge you this week. Find someone you've looked down on and genuinely serve them. Because humility doesn't make you smaller. It makes you someone worth following. And if you want to see true humility, look to Jesus. He was God. He had every right to be proud. And instead, he humbled himself down and became a human being like me and you. He experienced every pain, every temptation, every struggle that you've ever been through. Also that you would have no excuses not to get up. See, pride was the first sin ever committed. It took the most gifted being God had ever created and turned him into the devil. But humility took God himself and brought him down to earth. Lucifer chose pride and fell. Jesus chose humility and saved the world. So the next time pride whispers that you're special, that you're better than anyone else, remember this: the most powerful being in existence chose humility. And if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for you. Kill your pride before it kills everything that God is trying to build in your life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And listen, I challenge you, just kill your pride. This is something that's deeply personal to me, and I know it's gonna help a bunch of people. If you made it this far into the video, please just comment, "Kill your pride," so I know who the real ones are. Have a blessed rest of your day, and I'll catch you.